this is like more Heisei era, right?
I think this is more like Heisei. That first series.
Reiwa's not till like what? A couple years ago was the Reiwa era.
Oh, I didn't know they had given it a name.
Yeah, so we're a new.
I knew we were in a new era. I just didn't know what it was.
It's the Reiwa era.
Ah, yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. All right.
Cool. Well, hey, Gretchen.
Hi, Martin.
We are back at it one more time
set.
in a different set. Absolutely. So last episode, we were at a place called Tabor Space in Portland. We're back at Tabor Space this time, but we're in a location that's called the Library.
Which is very cool. I really dig this spot. I mean, the last one was fun, but it's fun to be kind of moving around a little bit.
Yeah.
We're still looking for a home.
Yeah. The last one was okay.
Yeah.
It was a decent spot.
Except for people coming in.
Somebody walking in on us, but then people walking by the window.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But we're here to talk about a movie.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I feel like I've been in a like fast forward mode lately, to be honest. Like going from film festival to this, it's like, woof, all right, things happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've come from one crazy month into another crazy month through all of this stuff. And just for anybody who might be tuning in for the first time, this is the Check the Gate podcast where Gretchen and I watch a movie and then we sit down to talk about it, but we never know where the discussion is going to go. And this time we're going to talk about...
we're going to go back to where we started again. So Martin and I were from a show called the Kaijucast. Originally, it was a 10-year podcast talking about Godzilla and his rubber-suited foes, hosted by our friend Kyle Yount. And we love to talk about kaiju films. It's kind of in our DNA. And going along with the subject of DNA, Shin Godzilla is going to be our discussion.
The 2016 Shin Godzilla
I can't even believe it's almost 10 years.
I know, it's ridiculous.
The fact that when I was revisiting this, I was like, is it really been?
Yeah.
It's almost been 10 years.
9 years ago.
Unfortunately, it just got a 4K release. I signed up to pre-order the entire box set because I have the Blu-ray from the original release that Funimation did with their studio project.
Oh, nice.
And it was good, but there was no extras. This one is like chef's kiss, packed with extras.
Yeah.
Like making of and how-tos. And I mean, those things are available online, but having it all in one place where, again, a Blu-ray that I will never watch because who has time for putting a Blu-ray in? Actually, I used a Blu-ray for this time. But yeah, it was, I think this was that moment for me as a kaiju fan when we were doing the show that I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I love a Godzilla that isn't a suited monster. Because, I mean, I like the Millennium series, which is what this kind of came, 20 years? It's been 20 years until this film franchise?
Millennium series was around 2000. Yeah, and so this one was 2016.
Late 90s, early 2000s. It was all, because it was Heisei era?
Yeah, you're right. With the whole Millennium series kind of ended with, and what was that last
Godzilla
one?
2000?
It was literally Godzilla 2000, yeah.
Or
so it had
was
been
it All Monsters? No, it was, yeah, I think it might have been Godzilla 2000.
Yeah.
I'm probably wrong. But, either way, this was the first reboot, essentially, before we got, Godzilla -1 and the Legendary stuff. Or I think the Legendary stuff might have been a year before. I think the first Legendary film came out 2014. But this was the first time Japan...
The Gareth Edwards film, yeah.
Yeah. But Japan, this was the first time they rebooted Godzilla and revisioning, and what a way to do it.
Yeah.
Because this was done by Hideki Anno and Higuchi. These, it was like a co-directing, co-writing kind of project. And these guys are one guy is a tokusatsu guy, and that's Higuchi. And then Anno comes from Evangelion. So he brings that existential message or mess essentially with Shin Godzilla, which makes this film a different tone than the normal Godzilla films would be. I feel like when we got back into like when we go forward into the Godzilla minus one, that was kind of feeling like it was coming back to the old Godzilla feels, whereas this is very like different. And what I remember saying about that on that podcast, and I was saying that this was when Godzilla minus one was when Godzilla was a monster. This Godzilla is a god because he is like a god incarnate, coming from the fears of like DNA manipulation via mutations and coming off the heels of the Fukushima disasters. This Godzilla feels like a disaster film.
Yes.
Like 100%. If you took Godzilla out, it would be a disaster film. Right?
It's a disaster film and a political commentary.
Absolutely. Well, then that in of itself, because the way that Japanese culture deals with disasters in general is very protocol. There's always a protocol in place. Like we see this throughout the movie. There's scenes where they're opening cases and things like that and pulling out different jackets, putting a jacket on. Now I'm the minister of this, this, and this, and as well as disaster bureau. I think those things are what make this film stand out, as well as what people don't like about this film, unfortunately, because I feel like they're missing the point.
I'm in that camp.
Are you?
Well, this isn't the first time we've seen it. Like we said,
Yeah.
you and I were part of Kaijucast, and back in
Yes.
2016, we all went and saw this together in the movie theater.
We did.
And then I think we did
A live reaction right afterwards.
Right. We went outside and we talked about it there, and then we did an episode about it, I think, at the Kaiju headquarters.
Yeah.
Didn't we do a follow-up on it
because
at a
we
minimum?
saw it again at Hollywood Theater.
Yeah.
We saw it once at the screening or the first, like I think there was like a pre-screener.
We had like a media pass.
Yeah.
To go
So
and
we
see
saw
it as a
that
group.
that way, and then we came back and saw it again at the Hollywood Theater. I feel
Right.
like, and my opinion hasn't. I think my opinion might have changed. I think at first I was like, well, this was special effects. And then I feel like every time I see this film, there's always something else I fall for or fall in love with or whatever, because it does like Kamaru-kun, it evolves. Hey. Yeah. This is one of my, I picked this film. This starts off kind of feeling like the film feels like what's it called, a found footage film, because we get this kind of notion that there's a pleasure craft that's been deserted off of the coast in the Pacific Ocean, and they go to find out it's a scientist that's disappeared, and they're looking through his belongings, and there's like this mapping, and then the first aspects of Godzilla's first form appears, right? Isn't that
correct?
Where he's in a kind of an aquatic form, but they only show us, we get kind of a sneak peek, and it's
like he's evolving out of an aquatic form to becoming a terrestrial form, because we're getting that kind of weird metamorphosis.
We get
struggling.
the tail.
Yeah, we get the tail. I guess not wanting to jump too far ahead, but when we actually see him come onto land and go. That's how I imagine the whole thing, is that it had probably been some kind of an aquatic form. There could have been any number of different issues out in the ocean that were never attributed to anything other than accidents or errors or something like that. But now we've got this thing, and we're literally watching it struggle to breathe as it is transforming from an aquatic or kind of an amphibian form into a reptilian land animal. That's kind of where we catch it.
The theory is that it's a Jurassic aquatic life that was mutated from the original bombing.
Right.
And that this slow evolution was a thing that was happening. And then when there was some think it was like Fukushima, I think was being addressed in this, or some other, I think there was like some disaster.
They didn't name it as Fukushima, but I think that's
because
where
I
they
guess
get
that
the
would have been
idea.
really tacky to be like, this is based off of Fukushima's
Right.
disaster. But I feel like this was I think if I remember properly, that was there was some like dumping or something like that, and that kind of progressed this. You know what that reminds me of? The Host.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In a way.
Well,
I don't think
and
I've
the
ever
Host
thought of
reminds me of Godzilla
Well,
because
right.
it was. I mean,
Well,
it's
it's only
Hidora and Godzilla.
Yeah. But I feel like this was kind of the almost Japan like recapturing that reign that the Host had kind of taken away a little bit. The Host was a different style of film. Don't get me wrong, it was fun, but I think that this was kind of that reframing of it to turn Godzilla into this. This was the first time we saw Godzilla as this kind of creature. Because usually it was like a defensive thing, or it was a guardian thing, or he's there just to fight the other monster because that other monster was in his territory. This was like the first time this was like it never felt like there was any purposeful sentience to it, that it was just this, like it was just trying to live. And I remember saying this about Godzilla -1 being like, oh, he looks like he was in pain. But this was very specific, that it really looks like he's
I wanted
in
to talk
pain.
about that as we went through this, because that's how I imagine this one. And so to me, this one, this one harkens back to 1954 in a lot of ways, because you're right, there isn't really a purpose to any of this one, but it's as if it is a culmination of all of the bad stuff that's been happening out in the oceans,
That's why they call it a god.
Exactly, all of our industrial and military sins coming to shore.
Absolutely.
And so pain is how I took this one, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it more as we go on with our episode, because he just reminded me the whole time of even just the way he looked with certain things. Oh God, I can't wait to get into talking about all this stuff. But just like almost just like everything is just like it's a screaming in pain, and everything that comes out of him is just this explosion of pain and anger. Everything. That's just nothing but pain.
I almost can't see him as angry because he doesn't seem to have purpose other than,
I guess, angry may not be the word. Agony.
Yeah. Well,
that's definitely a better way to say it.
Definitely. I mean, he's doom incarnate.
Yes.
And we've only done it to ourselves. And that's kind of like the tongue-in-cheek aspects of the political play on it, is that we are so slow to address a situation, and we take such time being careful of bureaucracy that so much things could have been prevented, or dealt with in a faster way, that less disaster happened to the people, because there is when it gets to land, like this movie takes off for me.
Does it?
I think it takes off, but I find that interesting to watch the interplay between them trying to figure out how to deal with this disaster. Go ahead. No, I want to hear what you're.
Well, so to me, this is a movie of fits and spurts, because the film does really kind of start right off. It's like you said, we have this abandoned ship. They're going and checking the whole thing out. We've got them. I don't think it's is it military or like a Coast Guard, or like a type of a Coast Guard or something like that, checking it all out. And then we have that very first incident. The boat's getting shifted over, and
you see the tail whipping out of the
water.
Oh
yeah, tail's coming out, and it's right there next to land. So it ends up, all of this stuff ends up happening right next to, I don't know if it's a fictional or a real place, but it's their version of a channel. It is some kind of a underwater, underground tunnel of traffic that gets breached and people are trapped in there. So it's kind of what they believe to be a natural disaster at first until the tail does come out, because they go through like 10 different scenarios of what this thing could be. And we begin to see that whole bureaucratic discussion. And so, which I get, but here's what's tough for me is that the particular way that I read, when I read a book, I'm a very slow reader because I read as if I am reading out loud, and I paint a whole picture in my head as I read things. And I know people who can just speed read. They can just cruise through words and they're making it out. Like, I hear inflections in voice and tone, and I'm in ups and downs with how sentences are working. And it's not any different when I'm reading subtitles. So when I'm reading this, but I'm also trying to listen to them, but I don't understand the cultural relevance. And there's a point where I'm like, I'm sure that there is some kind of snark, sarcasm, any number of different things that are happening. It's lost on me. I don't notice it because I don't recognize the inflection in their language. And I'm trying to read it and not add my own inflection into the words that I'm reading, knowing that sometimes there might not be a one-to-one that's coming across. So I'm missing something in translation. So, and they're doing a lot of things on screen while things are going on too. Not all the time, but sometimes they're doing walk and talks like it's the West Wing, and they're going through stuff, and I'm trying to read and keep up with it. My subtitles were odd ones too, because it would pop up the title of a person. So it wouldn't just say I was listening to so-and-so character. I was listening to the second defense secretary minor to the ba-ba-ba, and then their name, and then it would be the words, and then it would like scroll through this so far, and I'm like, I'm trying to like keep up with like what it's saying and who just was saying that. It's like, why did they put like full titles in there on what these people were? Because did I just lose the joke, or did I just get the joke of what is happening?
Yours didn't have it where the person who was speaking, like, it didn't show their address up top, and then it had their speaking lines along the bottom?
It had all of it along the bottom.
Wow.
And so it would bring up like their
have?
job title would be on there, and then their name, and then it would be the words. And as it would announce who they were, and then their stuff was underneath, then their name would go away, and then the titles would pop back up higher. So I'd be reading a line, and then I'd be like, oh, I just lost a line. What?
Yeah. See, my subtitles were built. The Funimation Blu-ray has the job title was basically set up here.
Oh.
Like, one of my favorite actors. By the way, there's a ton of Godzilla actors in this, like old Godzilla.
So many.
I was I can't even keep track of I was like, that's her.
Yeah.
Me. Wait.
Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 Godzilla films where there are characters in here that are going in and out.
That was hard for me because I should have researched that a little bit more as to who was what, but I think I did back in the 2016s.
Yeah, I think the first time we talked about this, we can relink the old Kaijucast episode.
Probably me going, I hate this film, and then I'm like, I love this film now. I'm such a lover. I do love. We talk about loving films because it's like we say, it's a miracle they get made.
Yeah,
so,
and this film, while I might lose some of the steam, and I'm missing some of the context when it is the talky stuff.
Yeah.
I forgot how gorgeous this film is.
Well, I mean,
holy cow!
The vision that Ano and Higuchi have they are a great team. Mm-hmm. I mean, they went on to make 2 other Shin movies.
Yeah, they did Shin Kamen Rider a couple years after this one, I think.
Shin Ultraman was next.
Oh, Shin Ultraman. Okay,
and then
yeah.
Shin Kamen or Mask Rider. Mm-hmm. That was brilliant.
And Shin, when I looked it up, because I didn't know, it means new. Is that correct? So it's like new Godzilla, new.
It has a few. This is kind of an in joke with my my Valentine is that because when I was describing this film, I was like, well, Shin is also like an ominous number. Mm-hmm. It also means the number 4, and also means death. Oh, okay. So rebirth, death, like. Because we're death to a franchise, mm-hmm. rebirth it's a very things in Japan aren't sold in quantities of 4. Like you don't buy 4 dishes. You buy 3, and then you can buy another 3 or whatever the case may be, but they're never sold in like sets of 4.
Yeah.
Because it's considered kind of taboo, kind of bad lucky.
Okay.
Yeah.
So see these little things that are lost
Right.
on me.
Well, and that's like those little silly things. But yeah, the director of this is such he always has some very thoughtful moments, and he is an artist, so he has a visionary kind of perspective of way. I mean, I feel like this Godzilla is an art versus other Godzillas in the past have been, just because of the way that it was presented to us as an audience. Like, we have this like monstrous god of a Godzilla, because he gets big. I mean, by final evolution, he is gigantic.
Yeah, it's huge.
And there's the posters in Japan are pretty amazing, because they say like God incarnate, city doomed. I'm like, woof.
Nice.
I mean, that gives me chills thinking about it, honestly. But I derailed myself.
That's okay. That's part of the show. We're all over the place. You never know where it's going to go.
No, so like Godzilla hits land. He immediately is trying to adapt to breathe. So he is like painfully growing. The gills are like opening up and exploding blood, and
it's so cool.
So gnarly. But he's also my favorite. That's my favorite evolution.
Oh,
I love Kamada-kun.
Got the nubby arms and
Kamada-kun. I even have him tattooed on my arm.
Wait, you do?
I do.
Is that?
He's right here. He's bubbled up and with his alien.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I love that Godzilla as well, because he is has such a doofy look to him with his big, giant, sharky fish eyes.
Yeah, there's
and,
no eyelids or anything over it.
And he's kind of pale because he's been underwater, and especially deep ocean. And then he has those gills that he gushing blood, and he just destroys the area as he waddles through.
Yeah, just plowing through that canal with all the boats and everything.
Again,
it's
he doesn't
so
care.
Good. I know.
And really, there was never a point where they were like, well, this is what he's after. You know, like how some Godzillas in the past, they were like, well, he's after the nuclear stuff, or he's after the other monster, or whatever, the territorial dispute. He has that element of this mystery to him, because they don't really know why. And I think he's in pain, and he's trying to get out of the ocean. He's like, ugh.
Yeah.
And that's why he's evolving, and his skin. One of the things I did notice about this Godzilla is that he also in his adaptations, that he is trying to stay alive. So he's constantly adapting and overcoming whatever is being thrown at him. Like if they try shooting him with bullets, he makes himself bulletproof. When they start shooting him with aircraft, he does an anti-aircraft lasers coming off of him.
The weapon arrays of this Godzilla are so cool.
Well, and he has
crazy.
He bifurcates his mouth. He's just monstrous.
That distended jaw thing was so cool. Yeah. I mean, was great.
And I remember when we were talking about this in -1, I was like, well, I've never seen Godzilla sit down and eat somebody. And that was the first time I ever did see that.
Yeah.
Where I never see a physical, picking something up. And he doesn't seem hungry. He's just hurting and trying to get through. And there just never seems a point. But I think we were talking about the military or the political aspects, and that's where I derailed us. But yeah, this is such a unique Godzilla film. I feel like there's 2 camps. There's not a mid on it. It's either a love or a hate.
I'm a mid.
Are you really?
I'm a mid. Absolutely, I am.
Yeah.
So, one of the complaints that I used to have about most of the Godzilla movies that we watched over the years is that they've always felt like very incomplete stories, and things would just be like, whoa, how did we just get here? What's like, they're just, you know, we got to hurry up and get to the Godzillas breaking down all of the stuff in the studios and whatnot and the people in the suits. And I get that. And that is great stuff. But there was always just these massive gaps in story and sometimes jokes I didn't always get. But yeah, just huge story holes.
Yeah.
And characters that I didn't represent.
Story holes?
This did not have story holes.
Okay.
This is a story. This is a complete film, very much like Godzilla -1, which is, you know, that's the Godzilla film I always wanted to see. But this one is a complete, good, well thought out film, and everything, even with that whole, you know, 3-dimensional map, which was, you know, very much kind of like a Contact type of an idea that they had gotten off of that scientist ship, and they were all trying to figure out what does this whole thing mean. And then they figured out, if we fold it all together, we get these multi-dimensional areas where the contacts each other, and that's where the information is on it. It was just neat stuff.
That was really smart. That reminded me of did you ever watch that anime series, Godzilla Singular Point?
No, I never saw that.
This I feel like was probably when they created Godzilla Singular Point, I feel like they watched this film pretty biblically and were like, all right, we're going to pull from this dread that's being created in this film. Because and one of the things that this film does have a lot of is dread.
Absolutely.
The way that people are reacting to.
That first prime minister seems pretty petrified the whole time. Like, he's way out of his league.
Nobody ever says Godzilla either, I don't think. Do they?
Gojira.
Do they even?
They say Gojira.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, especially I don't remember the names in this one, and I apologize. But the young woman that comes in that's really pushing the politicians to be able to make...
Oh, the American one?
Yeah, she's got the American connections with them, so she's going back and forth, and she...
All right. I love when you speak in English.
Which supposedly was the hardest part for her on this set, was to try to speak English. But I think she's one of the first ones. She's literally the one that says Gojira for the second time, and so then they use it from kind of her point on.
Oh,
they use it
that's
a couple of times.
You know, I watched this last night, and I was like, some fine points I lost, maybe. I was real focused on the monster a lot.
It's a great monster.
I mean,
it is. It's so cool.
Motion capture done by, I unfortunately cannot remember his name, but it was the actor that they used was a kabuki actor. Mm-hmm. And so Godzilla's steps and everything are based off of no theater and kabuki. Mm-hmm. So very like the shuffles are very with intention, and like the pushing forward, the arms are like thought of as a sleeved kimono, which I was blown away by when I read that. I was like, oh my God, this is no wonder. There are just so many thoughtful, intentional things about this film that I had totally glossed over back in 2016.
It's very true.
Not knowing
it is very intentional.
Yeah. The designs, them alone have feelings, and the script was written by Anno as well as being co-directed with Higuchi, who's a tokusatsu guy. There was the way have you ever seen Evangelion?
Yes, I haven't seen all. I think there's 3 or 4 seasons of Evangelion.
There's one season of Evangelion, but there's like 4 movies.
Oh, it's so okay. So I've seen one of the movies. I don't remember which one in it, and I haven't seen the series.
There's a recutting that I would recommend for people to see that was like 1.11 and 2.0, I think. But the most recent imaginings, or not reimaginings, they're recuts and then new films that have been added to the series. They are very very dark stories. Evangelion's not really like a happy-go-lucky storyline in general. The end of Evangelion being the most esoteric of it all, but that though they kind of don't go into that much in the films. this is about using young people and powering these robots that are to stop the apocalypse, start and stop an apocalypse.
Right.
Yeah. And this film feels apocalyptic in that same regards, that I think that Anno was intention. Like what he brings to the table is like, besides being like the biggest Ultraman fan, like holy crap, this guy did a like Ultraman short film fan film back in the 70s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's what put him on the map?
Oh
then?
yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's what kind of started I think he did a lot of like anime films. Higuchi did the anime film like Attack on Titans and stuff like that.
I saw that in there. Yeah, that was, and
so they were all kind of set. This is like
they were setting themselves up for this.
Yeah, this was a good friendship to behold, and we're lucky as viewers to get to see these films. But I get that they aren't universal, right? They're not designed for a universal audience. I think they're designed for fans of Godzilla, or mainly for the Japanese public, because going back to the political aspects of it, those moments that are pretty dry, but they are very tension-filled moments of like where they're trying to figure out how to deal with this problem. And as Godzilla evolves, they're trying to evolve their abilities to handle the situation.
I think members are trying to evolve. There are definitely people who are trying to step up, like that whole political commentary that this film is having with people who are very old school political system, people who are trying to become part of the new vanguard, people that are in between and they don't know which way to go, and they kind of want to appeal to that older generation because they're assuming that this is just something that they're going to solve, and they want to be on the good side of that, thinking that on the other end of that, these same people are going to be in power. And it's so it's interesting to see all of the power dynamics and the shifts and the way they just and I will say, like, this stuff isn't lost on me either about them going from meeting to meeting.
Oh yeah.
And they go to set up one. Which one is it that they're setting up? I think it's when they finally decide that they're going to go and do something, and they're setting up the room that's like upstairs. So we literally are seeing them shipping in the printers and plugging all of the printers and the scanners in, and everybody's getting their own little headset so they can plug them all in and do it. Like, they're doing all of this stuff, and it's so bureaucratically and
fascinating.
And it's fascinating, absolutely. But just to watch them have this protocol that they are not willing to break in the face of a complete dire emergency, they're just like, no, this is the thing. There's this idea of maintaining your normalcy and your protocols, because that's what's going to see us through this. And it's just the whole, like, cities are burning. This thing is just like tearing through everything, goes back to the ocean, comes back on land and doing this. And there's still, and even on the downtimes, when there's the downtimes when this thing, this Godzilla would exert a ton of energy, and then it would kind of stop and it would like lock up. And it's like it's reforming its energy inside. It's kind of building its batteries up, however. And just the downtime with them, they're just like, oh, we can just sit around and talk about this now, and we can have other meetings, and we can shift other meetings around. And there's some people that are like, what are we doing? What is this? What are you doing? It's like, no, we got to maintain all of this. And like you had said with like, oh, I'm going to put on this jacket now, I'm this person.
Well, and that's, I mean, I've said this many, many, many times over many shows, is that if not anything, the Japanese always have a very, very set way of things. And the nail of 6L gets hammered down because that is a very, very set way of doing things. I mean, we're talking like living there, you have trash protocols that you have to follow, certain stickers and certain bags on certain days. I mean, there are some things, but also think about this in the sense of like that is a hugely populated country and very tiny.
Small area, yeah.
So you have a small amount of real estate with a vast population. You have to have some strictness about it, right?
Is there a cultural pride that is attached to the execution of those type of things?
Absolutely, because you are supporting your neighbor and you are uplifting your community. And that's very important in Japanese culture. I mean, I feel like we can borrow a little bit of that here in the United States.
We could.
I'm just saying, building up your community is important.
Yeah.
Not to be too political. But yeah, it is. It's that thing that what I thought was interesting, but a lot of Americans didn't find interesting. I also thought it was really funny to see this one actor. And again, my brain is just mush. One of the younger politicians or employees of the state or whatever, he is from a series called The Great Horror Family.
Oh, I don't know this one.
It's so ridiculous. It's done by the director of The Ring. I think that's. I'm not going to spare the name. It's done by the director of The Ring, and it's about a family who live in a house that's on ley lines, and they come across all these wacky adventures with yokai and like spirits and aliens and just funny things, and it's a curse. There's a curse on the house, and
that sounds fun. I want to watch it.
It's so funny. I have it on DVD. We could totally watch it sometime.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good time. It's very Japanese though, so like it's the nuances of like why this is funny and this is not funny, like and then it also has some like low hanging fruit. Like there's a neighbor who is she's a very dramatic woman, but every time she runs on the street, you hear this boing 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 sound, and it's because she's got big boobs. So that's some low hanging fruit, but it's a funny show. My favorite was that there was a character who's like a kind of like a Yurei, like the Grudge kind of character, and she was like leaning over and like bleeding on the ground, and he says to her, this character who's in Godzilla, he's like, "You bleeding all over my floor," and she's like, "Oh, so mustn't," and like trying to start gathering it up. It's like, "Komendasai," like, sorry. I just like those kind of things are so silly, but it's very like it's so intrinsically Japanese. I totally again derail, but like seeing that actor in this, I'd never seen him in anything serious, so I was like, oh. But when he jumped out at me because he did the oh, and like there was a very Godzilla movie like moment that we've seen in other Godzilla films. We have one person that's like points at the camera, which is really fun to see. Those love letters to it. I remember leaning over and being like, "This is a beautiful love letter to all Godzilla movies," and Kyle was like, "If you say so." Or something like that. I think he came around, but I think at first he was like, kind of like, I'm not sure I love this movie. But because he's more of a Heisei era Godzilla guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, less Showa, definitely. This is, I guess, technically still part of the Showa era, right? Or the Heisei era. He's more of a Showa guy. This is like more Heisei era, right?
I think this is more like Heisei. That first series.
Reiwa's not till like a couple years ago was the Reiwa era.
Oh, I didn't know they had given it a name.
Yeah, so we're a new.
I knew we were in a new era. I just didn't know what it was.
It's the Reiwa era. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
This film is, again, it's so beautiful. It's such a well executed film that it opened the door for us to be able to have Godzilla -1. And I don't know if there's a way for them to try to. I don't know if there's an attempt to try to connect them. Who knows?
No,
because what happens in World War II?
This was a rewiring, a revisioning of Godzilla. This was the first time Toho had done this.
Yeah, they had in
decades.
a long time. Absolutely.
So this was a big big deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was like, that's why I personally, I mean, one of the many things I love about it is that, this was a big deal when it came out. Like, this was the first time we've seen this.
Right.
And we only had the Legendary films, and I hated those. I hate them.
Yeah.
They're so dumb. And they get dumber and dumber and dumber as they make them.
We've talked about that
Oh,
before.
boy.
I was angry how one of the films made me wish that had made me go back and realize that Gareth Edwards' film was so good, because it wasn't a good film.
No,
it was not at all. But they just got sick. But they just did the second King Kong and Godzilla film, and it was King Kong X Godzilla Fallen Kingdom, and there's like a there's like some kind of mecha arm on it that goes on King Kong, and
hate it.
And there's some other kind of like other giant gorilla that is a part of it. I didn't see it. I haven't watched it.
I watched it. It's terrible.
The newest one with the second Kong in it that they fight. Oh, see, I will say this.
It's dumb.
I thought Kong Skull Island was good. It wasn't great. It was good.
Entertaining, yes.
Yeah.
Popcorn movie, totally.
Yeah, it was a great popcorn movie, and it had a whole bunch of people that I loved in there.
All of these Legendary films are.
No, it's so. The Gareth Edwards film is beautiful to look at. He's so good at action.
Dude.
He's just terrible with character development and story.
If he had stayed, okay, so I saw a promo for that Legendary film that was like a tone promo or something like that. Well, I don't know what those are called. Like when they have like what is it called when the trailer is not it's a themed trailer or a theming trailer or whatever. What is it called when the trailer's not, they've not finished the movie, but they put out a trailer?
It's a teaser. Are you talking about like an early teaser?
Yeah. So the early teaser that I saw, if they had made that movie, that Godzilla, that would have been way better. But I'm just not here for the human story. I mean, I enjoyed the human story in -1, and I really enjoyed the human story in Shin Godzilla as well, because it's not I'm not meant to feel things for these people. This is more like reacting. Whereas, the other one, Godzilla, we keep making these comparisons, but like it's more of an enacting or acting with, or, whereas Shin Godzilla is reacting. The Godzilla movies in the past are more of the human element is more set dressing, and it's about children.
That definitely happens in the second Godzilla series. They become a lot more kid friendly in there. And what is it when we get to
like Hedorah? Things start to kind of shift over.
Sort of. Hedora's still pretty serious.
Oh yeah, it's pretty kid. That stupid kid and is throwing the stupid kid that thinks he's smarter than the adults. I always hated those.
Well,
but
I'm thinking of the one where Godzilla's on Monster Island and is doing the jump.
Oh,
and there's even the one where it does like a football kick. Like they're kicking the rock back and forth, and then he's like spinning with the tail and whacking them, and then. Yeah, that's the kid era. Running through there with some of those.
That's
silliness.
also the Minya era.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, when Minya comes in, that definitely that's all about the kids. Yeah, not so much.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like kids. I'm not hating on kids. And kids deserve their Godzillas. They have
sure
their
they got them.
They're
there.
Whereas, our Godzillas, I prefer a little bit darker. That's kind of why I like the Millennium
GMK.
stuff. GMK is great.
GMK is a great one.
Yep. Godzilla versus Destroyer. Yeah, all of those. Great. Yeah. But this, I was like, the first time seeing this, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And they did what Akira Ifukube did. They used the Akira Ifukube score.
Oh man, when that music comes in, whoa!
Boy, oh boy!
It's always good. It always good.
Hits. And because we're fucking nerds.
Yeah,
it hits, right? Like hearing that dun dun dun. It's like, all right, this is a Godzilla movie for sure. That always feels that always makes that moment. And when Godzilla's like shifting slowly and the dun 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 dun, and
Yes.
then the military is ramping up, and we're about to get this, like, we're figuring this is gonna be the showdown. And this is before they figured out what to do. This is
Yeah.
before this is one of the for second evolutions, where he's got like the little me hands, and he's all
Right.
and he
Everyone
still has
fears
a
the
bug-
T-Rex.
right, and he still has like the tiny eyes, and they're still pretty googly, and he has kind of the crazy mom, which I think is actually this form here. Thanks, Lady Kyle and Man Kyle, for this.
I miss them.
I know, but yeah, that moment when that music starts to hit and they're like ramping up to try to figure out how they can shoot him down. That's when we also start to understand that Godzilla is adapting as well as evolving, because evolving is progression of a creature, and this is being accelerated by the whatever has happened to him, but the adapting aspect, like he is reserving batteries. He is his skin is rippling and protruding in different ways to bounce off. Because remember that scene where all of the anti-aircraft weaponry
I
bounces
love those.
off of him.
They hit him and bounce, and then they blow up.
Oh boy,
that was cool,
amazing.
It was pretty sweet.
Freaking cool.
Yeah. That brings that right back to where you had said earlier, the intentionality behind this film.
Right.
And those older films, they were always on such a short time schedule and on such a small budget that sometimes I think they're just trying to get things done, and they know what their audience wants. They want a bunch of people in a rubber suit banging through all of these big built out cities, and the slow motion explosions and crushing and stuff.
Yeah.
But these guys had that time to a certain degree. They had that time to have that intentionality and think of something so cool like that.
I know. Well, and this was supposed to be a puppet, right?
No, I didn't.
So there's a puppet that's been built specifically for this film. It was going to be that those big shots that we're going to try to do, like bigature or miniature and like forced perspective aspects, but the using the actor, the kabuki actor, that ended up making it more realistic, and they couldn't ever mimic those movements that he was able to create with motion capturing.
Gotcha.
So this puppet just now is on display.
There was a couple of times where I wondered if what they had was like a composited shot of some kind of a handcrafted creature, not with a person in a suit, but like some of the close-ups of the head.
Yeah.
When they were in there, it was so crisp and good. I was like, oh man, that looks like that's practical and not digital. But I don't know.
That's when things are getting better and better.
Yeah.
Just saying. But yeah, those are the elements that make this film a lot for me. Those, for me to not feel an uncanny valley.
Yes.
Makes it even more good.
Yeah.
Because this film and Godzilla -1 were the only two times where I've ever seen a digital Godzilla that I was like, well, it changed my tune. Because I was literally only a suit actor fan for a long time.
I was going to ask if you were such a purist, if this took away from that in any way.
No, it made me go, oh, well, look, I thought I knew. Because this was so brilliant and so crafted. I mean, even though it's digital, but because of the intention behind the digital aspects, I think that is what makes it for me. It's not like how in The Thing 2 remake or prequel or the fuck. It's not like that, where that was covering
movie.
all of the practical
stuff
effects.
because the studio
So this wasn't like
folks,
that.
yeah,
I mean,
that
they
was
had the
so
intention
heartbreaking.
of using the puppet, but then they were able to capture such more life by using this kabuki actor who had kind of created these motions, and they were like, well, we just have to go with this. It's a pretty great film.
Yeah. It really is. It's a better film than I originally gave it credit for. Even if I don't always connect through all of the talky bits. The thing about that is that it's I want to make sure I stress this, is that those are all, again, very intentional and well done, and there is a story in it. I don't want to leave anyone thinking that it's I don't feel like that's like they're killing time or they're doing anything, or it's an exposition dumps of anything, because it's not an exposition dump film.
Yeah. There's no exposition.
Well, there's no exposition there's none that's lost. Like, it's not lost dialogue. They're not trying to like catch us up or fill us in or do anything like that. It's, it's all very well intended, and it has its political commentary directed at the current way they run their politics. So
and especially in how Japan reacts to disaster.
Yes, and that's an excellent point to keep bringing back up to it. So it is a very well made film,
a well made disaster film.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you compare it with the other two Shin films, they all kind of share that element in that they're pointing at a political aspect. I mean, eventually I'd love to do Shin Ultraman and Shin Kamen Rider, but yeah.
I would do that too. I'd like to see those. I would like to see what they did with those.
Have you seen them?
No, I've never seen either one of those.
Do you know Ultraman's like history, or like do you know Ultraman like stuff at all?
I know Ultraman stuff. I've watched Ultraman, not a lot. There's a lot of Ultraman stuff that's out there.
Ultraman Gaia is one of my favorites.
There's so much.
The mighty Chiaki Kanata.
Oh man, films and series. They're so well. I don't know how many. There was a few TV series of it. It's mostly films, but there's a ton of films. There's a lot of it.
There's a lot of series.
Is it a lot of series too?
Oh yeah,
okay.
There's like original, and then you got the Return of, and then you have Ultraman Gaia, Ultraman Ace. Oh my gosh, the story continues. And like, even now, it's still currently running.
Yeah, absolutely. There was just a I think there was a new, was it Kamen Rider? Maybe it's the Kamen Rider that was just a few years back.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Because they use kaijin, which are like people that are kaiju essentially. Kaijin being like monster people, like the humanoid size, which Ultraman is like prevalent with, But I could get on.
Well, and Ultraman is where Pigmon comes from.
Yeah.
Which is a favorite of Rachel's, at least. Is Pigmon a favorite of one of your favorites as well?
I love Pigman. My favorite guy is Sibozu.
Oh, Sibozu, that's right. So I love that Sibozu, and I remember when we did Hail to the King. And Kyle was in Japan and went to that kaiju bar, and there was a person that was dressed up in a suit of that at the kaiju bar.
Oh, at Kaiju Sakaba?
Yes. Yeah. And for the people that don't know, years ago, Kyle and I did a documentary. I produced it for him. He got a Kickstarter and was able to go to Japan with a small crew and actually film this documentary. And it's a real love letter to Godzilla. And it was done back in 2014, trying to come out at that 60th anniversary of Godzilla. So it's about an hour-long documentary. We got a little bit of distribution on that whole thing.
Now Godzilla is going to be 71 this year.
I know, that's crazy.
So weird.
Yeah.
So weird. How dare.
Yeah. This was a great film. I'm glad that we got to see this one again and relived it. I honestly, I wish that I had thought about it and paid better attention, and I would have said, let's go to the movie theater when it had its brief couple of weekends.
I can't wait for that 4K box set. I am excited.
Oh man, to see this in 4K would be amazing, because the version I had was pretty and it wasn't 4K.
And they did the treatment to it, like that they did with Godzilla -1 that turned it black and white.
Oh.
And I've never seen Shin Godzilla black and white. I don't know if it'll have the same tone.
Yeah.
But I'm be curious to see how that hits. But man, I just think that Anno's quite a genius in general. I think because I'm more interested in the darker, spookier stuff anyways. So I think that's why I kind of gravitated towards this. I mean, I was blown away.
Absolutely. Well, and so there's two more things I want to actually talk about because you're
Yeah.
talking about that darker bit. Those night scenes when Godzilla is going off and has like the multi beams going off, because you were talking about with the aircrafts on it, all those beams are shooting out there. Like I will admit it's a little bit silly with all the beams coming out of there, but
I thought it was
it's happening,
brilliant.
and I'm like, this is awesome. I don't care what anybody thinks if they want to say this is silly, because it's just like, it was beautiful. It was so cool. And it was just the purples and coming out of there doing all
What
that
smart lighting.
It was beautiful. It was so beautiful. It was beautiful lighting. It was so well done. And I actually loved that there was a transition between what he had as his kind of atomic blast, like this
Right,
nuclear
the
beam,
bullet and then
but then the
pinpoint.
right. But then there was a flame that he had too that was
Yes.
very red,
And
and
then
it would transition back and forth through that. And the tail
Wow.
had it too. Oh,
It was so
so
amazing.
beautiful.
We've never seen, and then
Yeah.
that to me reminded me that was like a very like Evangelion angels
Yeah.
like aspects.
Yep.
To me, at least. I mean, I could be reading into it, but I feel like this was because there was like a big crossover campaign like when this film was coming out. That he had all of the main characters of Evangelion dressed up as Godzilla characters.
Nice.
And I even have one of like a figure from that, and it's Rey, one of the Evangelion pilots, and she's holding a little Godzilla. It is one of my pride and joys. I also got a pin set that was really, it's like very limited at that time. That was Evangelion and Godzilla. It was really cool.
Nice.
There were so many cool things. So many cool things.
Oh yeah. So there's one last thing I want to hit on, and I
Sure.
want to ask you about it. It's the very last shot of the film.
The tail.
The tail.
So, if you think about it, here's how it kind of rolls.
Okay.
So Godzilla is evolving constantly in this film, and these things, as they pull away, are every little bit of his DNA that was cut off or broken off or whatever. Because there was this moment, and we're gonna give this away, like he gets killed, but I'm not gonna tell you the exact way because it's pretty brilliant when they come to a realization about it. There's his entire existence is adapt, evolve. Why not those small aspects turning into kaijin?
Is that what you think the tail is?
Oh, definitely.
Really? You think they're like smaller kaiju that could break off from him?
Oh,
is
yeah,
that what you're saying?
because he's falling apart.
Sure.
And so,
And we see there's
Because
actually a
it-
shot where we see a little piece of tail like shift.
and as
in
the
all that.
creature has shown us like its own canon, its own rules, that it was evolving and adapting. It only makes sense for it to break down to something smaller to evolve and adapt.
I had a different take.
Oh, really?
So those looked like people to me.
Kaijin. Yeah, because they had like monstrous kind of features.
Yeah.
But they were like humanoid shaped.
I took those to be people who had been in either Hiroshima or Nagasaki that had been affected by the bomb, and they were like the
That's fucking dark,
early
dude.
I know, but I took those as like the early form of whatever those first versions of Godzilla were, that there were maybe several of them, and part of their evolution or part of their mutation, they all started to then kind of form together. And that was where the Godzilla thing actually grew out of this tail that ended up going. And those were the first forms. Those were the first forms. That was where it all started. It was whatever the mutated creatures had come out of World War II.
I mean, why not? They never explain it.
They don't, but that's
There's
what
never
I
gonna
saw.
be a sequel.
There's not?
Nope.
Why?
Because it's not meant to be. It was meant to be a standalone franchise.
Well, that's not what every Michael Bay movie that made money tells me.
It's not meant to be.
Okay.
Anno hasn't had any developing plans for going past what Shin Kamen Rider, Shin Ultraman, and Shin Godzilla, as far as what to do with Godzilla. Yamazaki currently has the reins of the new Godzilla, and he's the one who's going to be continuing this franchise. Toho has given him the green light for a second film.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping it's a Hedorah film, please.
We had talked
Ghidorah
about that in our first episode. Absolutely.
deserves it. But ultimately, I think this is good to leave Shin Godzilla as Shin.
Mm-hmm.
This was a perfect beginning for Toho's revisioning of Godzilla as a franchise.
Yeah. I'm good with that, and I love that Godzilla -1 is going to get its sequel. I can't talk enough about how good that movie is and how much I loved it.
Thank you for watching one of my favorite Godzilla films.
Absolutely. Trust me, you didn't have to force me into anything. I still, even if I don't always get a Godzilla film, it's so a part of who I am now and my love of it, because to be honest, what it usually means is I get together with the people that I love the most, and I get to watch these things and share them and talk about them and be a part of it. So it will always be one of the best things ever.
Yeah, I agree. Well, what are we watching next, Martin?
Oh, so my pick is going to come out at Halloween time. So I was feeling very gothy, very dark, and I wanted to revisit a film that I adore so very much. I saw it in the theater in 1994 when it came out, and that is the Alex Proyas film, The Crow.
Wow. I also saw this in the theater in 1994.
Yeah.
Just graduated high school.
Oh, I was in college at the time. We're dating each other on this. So, yeah, I'm really excited to revisit this film with you.
Oh, man, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time on Check the Gate podcast.
Absolutely. And always, thank you so very much for being here, Gretchen.
Thank you.
Yep. And we'll see you all next time. Make sure you like and subscribe if you can. Enjoy us. Check us out on Instagram. We don't have a Patreon. We're just doing this for the fun and the love of it. So if you can watch and share, that would be amazing. And we will see you all next time.